We were devastated to hear that Malcolm-Jamal Warner drowned while vacationing in Costa Rica. He was just 54 years old.
We have now learned he and his 8-year-old daughter were both struggling in those strong currents.
Y'all, the silence is officially broken, and it's shaking the table. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's wife has allegedly stepped out of the shadows to do what no one else has dared: name names.
His message to a lot of people who had lost hope was nationalistic, and he didn't want them to stay there, but to be jarred into the realization that they had a past before slavery.
After years of grieving quietly, shielding her daughter, and staying away from the cameras, she's now coming forward with what she claims is the truth behind Malcolm's death. And it's not the version we've been fed. Let's be clear, this isn't a grieving widow throwing around vague accusations. According to sources close to her, she's naming names.
So even before conception, we were very clear we were having. And I knew that I needed a girl first to kind of ease me into it, because I have a pretty good idea of what kind of father I would be. So I needed a girl to kind of, slow me down and warm, and soften me up, if you will. So for me, raising my daughter, I came into fatherhood already with a certain maturity.
Detailing the threats Malcolm received and exposing what she says has been covered up for far too long. She's painting a picture that feels less like a tragic accident and more like a carefully orchestrated takedown. Allegedly, Malcolm had been getting bombarded with anonymous, untraceable threats, not just targeting him, but warning him to back off for the sake of his family. She claims he was being followed, watched, and monitored in the days leading up to his death. The message was chilling: stay silent, or there will be consequences. And yet, he didn't stop. What's wild is how calculated her approach has been. She hasn't revealed her own identity, but that doesn't mean she's hiding. No, sis is on a mission. Controlled, fearless, and laser-focused. Because according to her, the man the world thinks drowned in Costa Rica never had a chance to swim. She's not asking for sympathy. She's demanding answers. And she wants whoever did this held accountable. And if what she's saying is true, then everything we thought we knew about Malcolm's final days is about to be turned upside down. From the moment the headlines dropped, Malcolm-Jamal Warner dead at 54 after drowning in Costa Rica, something didn't sit right. And now, with his wife stepping forward, the inconsistencies are glaring. The official story says Malcolm was swept away by a rip current at Playa Grande. But when you start digging, the math simply does not math. First off, Malcolm wasn't some weak swimmer. He was known to be strong in the water, comfortable in the ocean, and cautious by nature. He wouldn't have gone swimming at a beach locals say is dangerous, especially on a red flag day with barely any lifeguard presence. So why was he in that water? Now, here's where things get even murkier. Multiple sources close to the family claim an autopsy revealed no water in his lungs. Let that sink in. No water. That means Malcolm didn't drown, at least not the way the media claims he did. So what really happened before he hit that water? His wife's version? Allegedly, Malcolm was poisoned. A fast-acting, untraceable substance meant to silence him without leaving a trail. And pushing him into the ocean? That wasn't nature. That was a cleanup job, a way to explain the death without investigation. Even more suspicious, the second swimmer involved in the incident has never been publicly identified. He survived. He was out of the hospital within days. But his name? Nowhere. Why? And let's not forget, in an age where everything gets filmed, there's not a single video, photo, or bystander post from the scene. Not one. It's almost like the story was written before the rescue ever happened. Malcolm's wife is making one thing clear: he didn't drown. He was taken out, and the ocean was just the cover. If you're wondering why anyone would come after Malcolm-Jamal Warner, a man who stayed out of drama, focused on his craft, and cherished his privacy, the answer might be hidden in his truth-telling. See, in the last few years of his life, Malcolm wasn't just acting, he was speaking, loud, clear, and to the wrong people. Through his podcast, Not All Hood, Malcolm pulled back the Hollywood curtain, and what he exposed made a lot of folks uncomfortable. He called out the hypocrisy of the entertainment industry, the way black artists were boxed in, erased, and punished, while white artists were protected and elevated. He dared to ask why The Cosby Show was pulled overnight while Woody Allen's movies still ran like nothing happened, and people were listening. But Malcolm didn't stop there. In one of his final episodes, he talked about how the media strips black men of their humanity, how they're demonized for existing, for thinking, for speaking. And allegedly, that wasn't just commentary, that was a warning. Even more explosive, Malcolm reportedly accused Hollywood execs of intentionally stirring chaos in the black community, fueling beefs, glorifying division, and profiting from the pain. He even pointed to the Kendrick versus Drake feud as something engineered, not organic. He believed they were being used as pawns in a game rigged from the top. And according to his wife, that podcast wasn't just talk. It was about to go nuclear. She claims he was preparing to expose everything: names, deals, patterns. He wasn't afraid anymore, and that made him a threat. A threat that, she believes, they silenced before he could speak again. Behind the spotlight, the awards and the headlines, Malcolm-Jamal Warner lived a life of deep privacy and fierce protection for the people he loved.
While the world knew him as Theo Huxtable, the heart of Malcolm's story was his quiet dedication to his wife and daughter. And now, in the wake of his death, that devotion has taken on an entirely new meaning. Malcolm had been in high-profile relationships before, from Regina King to his Cosby Show co-star Michelle Thomas. Some ended in heartbreak, others in tragedy. But when he met a Connecticut-based attorney in 2015, everything changed. They kept their relationship private, marrying in secret around 2016 or 2017. Their daughter was born shortly after, and from that point on, Malcolm made one thing clear: his family was off limits. He never revealed their names. He never shared their faces. And even when he posted tender moments, like holding his newborn in 2017 with the caption, "Peaceful time with family takes on a whole new meaning now," he made sure their identities remained protected. For him, fame wasn't worth the cost of exposing the people he loved most. That's what makes his wife's recent actions even more powerful. Despite staying anonymous, she's stepping into the fire to defend her husband's legacy and uncover the truth about his death. Because this isn't just about justice. It's about honoring a man who spent his life shielding his family. And now, she's doing the same for him. She's not chasing headlines. She's fighting to finish what Malcolm started, even if it means going up against a system that wants the truth buried. At this point, there are just too many red flags, and not the kind flying on the beach that day. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death, ruled an accidental drowning by Costa Rican authorities, has left behind a trail of unanswered questions, missing information, and disturbing inconsistencies. And the more you look, the less it makes sense. Let's start with the beach. Playa Grande in Limon isn't your average tourist spot. Locals say it's dangerous. Red flags were up, lifeguards were scarce, and the current was known to be deadly. So why would Malcolm, a strong swimmer and cautious man by nature, enter that water with his young daughter and an unidentified companion? Then there's the bystander footage, or rather, the complete lack of it. In an age where people film everything, no one caught the rescue on video, not even a single photo of the aftermath. It's suspicious, especially since a short clip later surfaced allegedly showing Malcolm walking alone on the beach just before his death. Who filmed it? Why didn't it appear until after? And what about that second swimmer? No name, no interview, just disappeared from the story, despite being the only adult survivor. Malcolm's daughter, reportedly involved too, walked away with barely a scratch. So how is he the only one who didn't make it? Then there's the autopsy. Authorities say it confirmed accidental asphyxiation by submersion. But Malcolm's wife says the private report told a different story. No water in the lungs, no signs of a struggle in the water. Just silence. Add in the anonymous threats, the cryptic podcast episode, and Malcolm's growing discomfort in Hollywood, and a new possibility emerges. This was an accident. It was a message. And if that's true, then someone out there doesn't want the truth to surface. But thanks to his wife, it just might. Malcolm-Jamal Warner may be gone, but his voice is louder than ever, echoing through the words of his wife, the suspicions of his fans, and the questions we refuse to stop asking. Whether you believe this was an accident, a cover-up, or something far more sinister, one thing is crystal clear. The story isn't over. His legacy wasn't just about sitcom fame or Hollywood roles. It was about truth, courage, fatherhood, and a quiet revolution he started with a mic, a message, and a mission. Now, it's his wife
the second swimmer involved in the incident has never been publicly identified. He survived. He was out of the hospital within days. But his name, nowhere. Why? And let's not forget, in an age where everything gets filmed, there's not a single video, photo,